Hello children, today we are going to start our talking about space, Model 8. Open your books at page 97. Exercise 1. You are to fill in atmosphere, surface, stars, radio, dwarf, particles, waves, solar, telescopes. For example, you cannot hear sound in space because there are not enough particles for sound waves to travel through. And now you are to read the text to check. Before reading the text, let's get acquainted with new words. Listen to them and write down in your vocabularies.
Dwarf planet.
Expand.
Particle. Swallow.
Now let's watch the video.
Space facts. How much do you know about outer space? Let's take a look at some interesting space facts. There is no sound in space because there are no particles for sound waves to travel through. However, astronauts can communicate thanks to radio waves. The footprints of the astronauts will stay on the moon's surface for at least 100 million years. This is because the moon has no atmosphere, so there's no wind or water to wash them away. Stars, like our sun, give light and warmth to planets like ours. As they grow older, they get hotter and expand, pulling the planets nearby towards them and eventually swallowing them completely. This may happen to Earth, but not for another 5 billion years or so. The dwarf planet Pluto lies in a dark and mysterious place in our solar system and was named by an 11-year-old girl called Venetia Burney in 1930. She had read about Greek and Roman mythology, and she thought of calling it Pluto. The red spot on Jupiter is a giant storm with winds reaching 640 kilometers per hour. It's been there since people first looked at Jupiter through telescopes around 400 years ago. Did you know any of the facts already? What else do you know about space?
And now you are to say, which two facts about space impressed you the most?
I was impressed that the footprints on the moon will stay there for at least 100 million years, and that an 11-year-old girl got to name a dwarf planet.
What else would you like to know about space?
I would like to know about dark matter, black holes, and supernovas, as I find these topics very interesting.
And now let's open the books at page 98. The truth isn't out there, or is it? In exercise 1, you are to listen and read the headlines. What do you think happened in these incidents?
An alien spacecraft probably crashed on a ranch in the Roswell region, and it was captured by some people. I think some people reported finding a strange wreckage, and they think alien bodies were examined at Roswell Army Base. A police officer reported a sighting of an alien spacecraft in Socorro, New Mexico. Thousands of people witnessed strange lights over Phoenix, Arizona.
Now let's get acquainted with new words, listen to them and write down in your vocabularies.
Aircraft.
Army base. Assignment. Autopsy. Billboard. Burst. Cattle farmer. Debris. Doubtful. Eerie. Eyewitness account. Formation. Freeway.
Hangar.
Hieroglyphics.
Hotspot. Lined with. Oval shaped. Rattlesnake. Remains. Report on. Skeptic.
Spot.
Unfold. Weather balloon. Weird.
In exercise 2, you are to read the title of the text and the introduction. What do you expect to read about?
I think the text is about a journalist investigating the case of the UFO crash landing in New Mexico in 1947 and whether or not it may actually have happened.
Now you are to read the text again. 7 sentences are missing. Match each sentence to the gaps. There is one extra sentence. For example, number 1 is G. I just couldn't understand why I was being sent. Me, a true skeptic. You are to finish this exercise yourselves. And now let's watch the video to check.
World UFO Day.
Every year on July 2nd, hundreds of people gather to look up at the sky in search of unidentified flying objects. This special day, World UFO Day, is a chance for everyone to get involved in a little bit of UFO hunting. Although the celebration is only a little over 20 years old, the search for strange and inexplicable things in the sky is nothing new. Interest in UFOs increased dramatically in the late 1940s due to 2 strange events. In 1947, a man living in Washington claimed that he saw a group of 9 bright blue objects flying at incredible speeds over Mount Rainier. Later that same year, people discovered strange debris near Roswell, New Mexico, that many believed to be the wreckage of a UFO crash. After that, there was no shortage of press on anything dealing with UFOs. Nowadays, some people have their own UFO clubs. Groups meet together in the evening to discuss recent UFO sightings in the news and to be on the lookout for flying saucers. But World UFO Day is not only for seasoned UFO hunters. Anyone can celebrate the day by getting together with friends to explore the skies or to watch one of the many films devoted to UFO lore, like The Day the Earth Stood Still, The War of the Worlds, or Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And for people who don't like spooky films, there are many alien-themed films and TV shows that are sure to keep everyone laughing.
In exercise 4, you are to think, what is the writer's purpose?
The writer's purpose is to inform readers of what a tour is like. She wants to give us an idea of what it's like at Roswell on the UFO Discovery Tour, and how it can make a skeptic wonder if it's all true or not.
In exercise 5, you are to choose the correct words in bold. Let's check. The trip to New Mexico wasn't very long. We were shown the exact spot where the spacecraft crashed. They lost their way around the desert. The experts examined the remains of the spacecraft. We had a great view of the crash site from the hilltop. The locals in Roswell are used the UFO spotters. People disagree about the events that took place in Roswell. Now, you are to make sentences using the other options. Let's listen to the examples.
We all enjoyed the tour of the famous site that lasted 3 hours. He made a mark on the tree as we walked through the forest so that he could find his way back. That diner sells dessert, such as ice cream in the shape of an alien. Please inform us if you experience any problems watching our documentary online. UFO seekers are a common sight in this area. You should respect the natives and their customs in this village. Scientists have been reviewing the facts since the crash, trying to find out how it happened.
In exercise 6, you are to match the words or phrases in bold in the text with their meanings. For example, moved quickly up means soared into the sky. Bothered, disturbed. You are to finish this exercise yourselves. Now let's revise our grammar. The passive. In exercise 7, you have to answer the questions. When do we use the passive? We use the passive to talk about actions when the person who carries out the action is unknown, unimportant, or obvious from the context. We also use the passive in formal writing such as in a news report or headline. How is it formed? We form the passive with the verb to be plus past participle of the main verb. The subject of the active sentence becomes the agent in the passive sentence and is introduced with by, whereas the object of the active sentence becomes the subject in the passive sentence. Which tenses do not have a passive form? Tenses that do not have a passive form: present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, future continuous, future perfect continuous. Now let's listen to some examples.
Fried insects are eaten in many Asian countries.
Many spices are sold in this market.
These dishes are offered at discount prices from 7 till 3 daily.
Coffee was spilt on my keyboard while I was on my break.
All the recipes will be presented by Jamie Oliver.
We arrived 30 minutes ago and our order hasn't been taken yet.
I apologise for the delay, but we are very busy at the moment.
Mary made this chocolate cake. This chocolate cake was made by Mary.
Our school gives us lunch every day. We are given lunch at our school every day. Lunch is given to us by our school every day.
People believe that he is one of the best actors in the world. It is believed that he is one of the best actors in the world. He is believed to be one of the best actors in the world.
People say Elizabeth Taylor was an extremely beautiful and talented woman. It is said that Elizabeth Taylor was an extremely beautiful and talented woman. Elizabeth Taylor is said to have been an extremely beautiful and talented woman.
And now let's find examples of the passive in the text. Let's check. I was asked. I was being sent. I was greeted. We were driven. We were taken. We would be shown. The remains of the craft were taken. The craft had ever been seen. It was made. I was fascinated. Tables were drawn. All could be seen. Phenomenon had been witnessed. And now you are to rewrite the following sentences in the passive. For example, cannot put up the tent. You may write, the tent was put up by cannot. And in the 8th exercise, you are to rewrite the headlines. In exercise 9, you are to imagine that you went on the tour with Ruth. Write a paragraph about your experience. Let's listen to the model.
Everyone was really friendly when we arrived. I was amazed by all the UFO-themed places along the freeway. Hotels, souvenir shops, billboards and road signs all showed aliens. Ruth is a skeptic, but we both agreed this assignment might be fun. At the crash site, we were told about how the events unfolded on that day back in 1947, and then we visited Building 84 where the aircraft was taken for examination. All the stories were interesting, but the creepy sketches of aliens on autopsy tables at the museum were so fascinating that even Ruth was impressed. While sleeping under the stars that night, I saw Ruth staring up into the dark sky with her camera ready, hoping to witness the next alien event. I think the place and the stories had affected her and all of us. We left slightly disappointed, but a little less doubtful about whether or not aliens exist.